How y'all doing today? We're going to go over what I'm going through right now, what I'm working towards, my plans, my goals, my aspirations, all right? So, originally my house, let's just skip that part. I got put in this place. I don't own it. It's not in my name, and it cost me double what it was costing me in my old place to live. So literally I could have bought two trailers and financed and run them all at my old trailer court than this one. The price is just so high. The taxes are triple right here from my old place. The electricity is triple. There's only one. We switched from what we were on to Ameren, which has a much higher rate, and you can in fact see that by driving down my street, because everyone here in this area, there is no gas in this area. It is all electric, right? So you go down every house here and they all have wood burning stoves in them. Every single one of them have a hole in the wall. They're like, I'm not paying $700 a month for electricity to heat the place. So they switched over and they all do wood burning stoves, which is great, but it actually comes to my detriment because that smoke gets blown in through my house and I smell all the neighbors' wood, which is not a horrible thing. I don't mind the smell of wood, but my future plans will have no fireplace. All right. My goal is to get away from fireplaces. So, we kind of feel trapped here because, like I said, I could be paying for two families to live in my old trailer court as compared to what we do here. So we want to get out of here. This isn't a long-term plan. This is you get evicted today if you don't pay rent. Even though you own the place, you gotta pay rent forever. And my goal is to lower my bills down. That's what I told my mom. I said, please give me a blessing and not a curse. And they gave me a curse. It's the equivalent of giving a homeless person a Lamborghini, and then they don't own it. They can't sell it, but they own it, right? And then scolding them for not paying the $2,000 a month in insurance just to drive the thing. You know what I mean? It was a trap. I got entrapped here. This wasn't a present. This wasn't a gift. This was a curse. So originally, when we were looking at places, we found a trailer on land down in southern Illinois, backed next to MLB property, which is national forest, so you basically have a forest in your backyard for a third of the price of this trailer, and we kept showing our trailers for 10, 12 grand that were on land, which means that the only cost you have is the yearly taxes, and the yearly taxes on that land was $50 a month. So that's all you had to come up with was $50 and you were good to go and you were golden. So my goal is to now, why we got into RV life, that style of camping is we're going to get a Toyota Sienna because it's the most reliable that you can live in, albeit they're real small. But you can live in there. You can put a bathroom, a bed, a couch, a TV, and that couch folds into, you can live in there. And then you stay in that 24/7, okay? So when I first started door dashing, it was a good thing because I just, from the time I got up to the time I got to bed, I went, and it was easy to make 1,200, 1,500 a week if you pushed it, and we're going to do that. And that is the temporary solution. That isn't the permanent. I'm not going to be a nomad where I live for the next 8 years in that van. It just has to last me a few months. And that's the goal. Okay. So, if you look at other people who have done, that live in their vehicle, they do it for a purpose usually. One guy did it, and within 3 months, he got enough to buy a $50,000 car for his mom. So that was his goal. He lived in that van. He drove DoorDash all day, and he just banked his money. Okay, he took his expenses down to zero. We're eating bread, soup, water, handout food, whatever we can get. There's no McDonald's. There's no nights at the hotel. There's no nothing like that. You just bank money. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to bank money. Okay, and there's two processes that you can do this. You can go, I could do this right now. I could get a trailer and land right now. I just sell my car. It books for $3,500 to $4,500. And then I find someone that does rent to own, right? Which means you put $2,000-$3,000 down and you own the place. But then you owe $400 to $600 a month for that place, you know? So I didn't want to do that. So we just want to get on the road. And I think that if we get into a tourist trap areas, that there'll be a steady pace, because I've gone on vacation and you've gone on vacation. And you know what happens when you go on vacation? When you get done with it, you're like, man, I spent a lot more than I really meant to, you know, you let out the purse strings there. So I think there'll be a lot of deliveries in an area that has, people that, tourist trap areas, right? They'll be ordering pizzas instead of getting the $22 meal from downstairs. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, let's just get a pizza for the family or something. And they usually tip better because their purse strings are open because they're on vacation. So if you get into a small town, you'll get zero activity. But if you get into a tourist trap, you'll just be going from hotel to hotel to drop off food and sandwiches and stuff like that, you know, and you'll be able to rack stuff up. And the places you can sleep are rest areas. You can park at a lot of, because we're doing real stealth, meaning that there's nothing external on the van that doesn't look like a regular van. So you can park in Walmart or any 24-hour center. You can park in casino parking lots. There's lots of places that you can even park in the hotels that you're delivering to, because they don't keep a close eye and go out there and be like, that car right there. They have 5,000 parking spots. There's just so much flow of traffic in and out that it's pretty easy to do it stealth. So I plan on doing that and banking up enough to buy the land and the trailer. Okay. That's the initial start. And then we'll have to go back on the road. But that gives me a fallback. Like if my van breaks down, I can have it towed to that trailer and that land, and I can get it repaired, and then we can go back out on the road. I want to work. I don't work jobs without my wife. My life is my wife. And if you don't like that, fuck you, you know. I'm put here for such a short period on earth. And I found so many people that have stabbed me in the back, and she's been such a good woman to me for the last 20 years that, you know what I mean? It is a blessing to spend my days with my wife, not a curse. And we've DoorDashed together, and we've gone on week-long adventures like that where sun up to sundown we're working. So we'll get back into that. So initially I'll buy the trailer and the land. And then I'll go on another stint of 3 months where I can save up 20, 30 grand. And then we'll come back and we'll do renovations, and we'll just continue that until the property's built up. All in all, it'll probably cost me $100,000 to $120,000 for the property, all done with everything on it, everything that I want. And I posted this all down in my comment section. If you go to Silvertooth's Garden and go to the post, and I've shown pictures of things. So what I want is minimum 3, but I want 5 to 20 acres. That's freedom to me. That's freedom that I don't have here. This place is the exact opposite of freedom. Right now, while I'm talking to you, if my neighbor's standing outside, which is right outside this window, she can hear me. There's no privacy at all. There's no intimacy. There's no freedom here. I can't even take my dog out without running into someone and talking to them. That's not freedom, you know. I want wide open spaces. I want freedom. I want trees. I want nature. Things that heal you. Things that make you feel like a human being, you know. Since I've gotten my dog for 3 years, I got to let her off the leash once, and that was at anniversary event. That was the first and only time she's been off the leash outside. And now she doesn't even go outside anymore. She goes on potty pads. I have a 4-foot by 4-foot square, and I put out 4 potty pads for her on that repeatedly, because I just don't want the hassle of going out and, hey, neighbor. All right, dude, I'm just trying to take my dog out. Hey, neighbor, I'm just trying to bring my groceries in. There's so much compactness and drama that I feel claustrophobic here. This is not the life I want. This is the life that this feels like a prison to me, as a long-term solution, And when I get my house done, the funny thing is it'll cost 1/10 of this place monthly to run. So you get all that freedom, but less bills. So, I want a gravel driveway with a circle turnaround in front of the trailer, right? And then off to the side behind it, I want a propane tank, because I want to run propane for the heat and for the stove, right? So that takes care of a lot of the electricity and a lot of the bills. That also off-grid, which this isn't off-grid. I'm not trying to be self-sufficient here at all, but I will be partially self-sufficient and I will have lower bills. But like right now, this is a no gas area. So when the electricity goes out, so does my heat. I have no heat in here, and I have no ability to heat this place at all. We got down into the 30s, and I've lived here for way less than a year, and 3 times the power has gone out in the cold, and we just had to blanket it up. We had to suffer. So LP tank out back behind the house, size double the size that we need it, that never gets below 50%. So there's never, we got 2 more weeks of summer, should we pay to fill it or not? It's always going to be at 50% even at the end of winter, even if it's a horrible winter. So the LP tank is the heat. There's no no fireplace in the house, but I do want to build a small wood storage for drying wood. There'll be fallen trees on the property and stuff like that. I can use a chainsaw, cut it up, and then cure it. And I'll use that for fire pits. And I also want to build a what are they called? Hot tub. My wife loves hot tubs. And I can do one off of just fire, where you put a firebox in it off to the side, and it heats the water for you anytime you want it. You just throw a few logs in, and then you come out later and it's warm, and you got a nice warm place. So there'll be out back, there'll be that, and then I'll do a in-ground pool, which I'll dig out myself with a backhoe, and then I'll put a deck on it so it's basically level with the structure itself. So I'll have a outdoor pool and an outdoor hot tub, right? On land, acreage. No one's watching me. No one's peeking around the corner. Are they in the tub? And I feel the complete privacy that a human should feel at some point in time, So then I want a 2-stall garage, and I'm going to run that off of a diesel heater. Diesel heaters heat a 2-stall garage very efficiently. You can run it 24/7, and it uses less than a gallon of fuel. So I'll keep a transfer pump there with about 50 gallons. That'll last me all winter. It'll just be a hand crank. It'll look like a little box that I'll keep 50 gallons of fuel in, and that'll be my heat source for the winter for the garage, which will be the heart of the place. Okay. So, by the way, the fire shed, for the firewood, will have a blue roof. The house itself, the trailer, will have a blue metal roof on it, and the 2-stall garage will have a blue metal roof. There's a theme here. I like blue and white. I think that's a good color. So I'll have that done, and then behind the house, off in the corner of the property, further away, I'll get like a 300-gallon fuel tank, and I'll get it on stands so it's gravity fed, and there needs to be no electricity run to it. And then I'll get a light post, and I'll put a light post in there, and they have light posts that are dual now, which means it's a LED, but on top of that LED, it has a little solar panel this big that charges it all day, and then it runs all night. It runs forever. So no electricity needed for that, and we can fuel up back there. As for the yard mowing, I'm going to save, because I'm not going to get a big zero turn and push it. we're into the modern ages, and you can get robots at Rivian, which was in Bloomington, Illinois. You see these little orange robots running around mowing the grass, and it looks like a golf cart course. It looks nice. Firestone uses them. All of them do. They don't hire out anymore, and they don't waste their time, and neither do I plan on spending 3 hours a day, 2-3 times a week to make my yard look like a golf course. I want it to look nice as well. So all the time. So then in the shed, I'm going to get 2 4-wheelers. I'm going to get a 90cc. It doesn't shift. It's no reverse. It has 15 miles per hour max. So my wife's safe on it. I don't have to worry about it. And she can use that to run the garbage cans to the curb. She can use that to go check the mail and stuff like that if I'm not there. Now, I want a bigger one. I want a 250cc one. It's just like a big red Honda 3-wheeler, the old one. You know what I mean? It's a utility. I want to put a hitch on the back of that, and for $100 you can get a little bucket for it, our trailer with a bucket on it. So I can drive around the property and just pick up sticks and stuff like that the mower doesn't need to hit, and garbage that's in the yard, and just survey the property. That's freedom to me. This is what I want, you know. As for animals, we want to keep it small and only 15 minutes of work a day. So I really want a chicken tractor that you daily move around the yard. I mean, you give them fresh food from the garden and stuff too, but it's all enclosed, so they have a space with shade in there, and then they have a space behind it to lay eggs. And you just pick up on the wheel and move it forward 10 feet and let it down every single day, you know. And I only want a dozen eggs maximum a day, so I'm not getting more than 12 chickens. I can always ramp this up. But I don't want to. I don't want to get up and do chores. I work for a farmer that had 5,000 acres. I've done plenty of chores. I can do daily chores. It's easy. He had 30 head of cattle, and you're constantly building fences, chasing them down and stuff like that. So I want chicken for eggs, and they're more like family. We're not going to eat them or anything. And then I want little dwarf pygmy goats for milk. I want actual goat milk to drink every day. I think it's very healthy, and it says so in the Bible. It talks about goat milk in the Bible more than once. So I want goat milk and eggs, and then we'll have the produce from my garden, which my garden I plan on doing about a 20-foot section by 100-foot long max. I'm not going over that. I'm not trying to feed the world or anything, or stock up and can for rainy seasons. I'm a gardener for life. I'll always be a gardener. So for that garden, I want to do a root cellar, which will be the storm shelter. And I want that like 15 foot from the house, so we can run out past the circle drive into that. And it'll be one of those double doors that opens just like up into a basement, but it's just a small place to store vegetables and go if you think a tornado's coming. And of course, it'll have blue doors too to match the property. So I've got this all lined up in my mind. I just need to make it a reality. And that's my dream. That's my forever place. That's a place that you could drop me on as my property, and I don't need to leave. I don't need to leave. So we'll do other advancements there, meaning that I've set up solar systems. I had a 5,000 watt PIP inverter that I set up along with 3,000 watt panels on the roof. I know I've done multiple solar systems. I know how to set them up. So I'll set up a solar system for the place that will we'll be off grid. We'll be off grid. If I have to, if the well doesn't have a property on it, we'll go spend 3 months door dashing, and then I'll spend the 20 grand to have a 200 foot or whatever well drilled down into the aquifer there, so that we can be off grid. We'll be able to be off grid, no problem. If you take out the equation of air conditioning, it's pretty much everyone in the world could go off grid. It's the AC that does us in with so much power that's hit. And that's the only thing that in the summertime, I'll caveat that by doing a wraparound dash. So our deck, I mean, so I want a deck all the way around the trailer, you know. It doubles the size of the trailer without doubling the interior. Now, this place, I believe, is 920 square foot. It's plenty for us. We don't need a double wide. We don't need a huge house that's 2, 3 stories. We just need 700 square foot or more, you know, and then a lot of outdoor space. And I feel like I won the lotto. I feel like I have my life that it took me 50 years to get, you know, that I dreamed about forever, you know. So, um, yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, little doodads and stuff, but I think we have a game plan here. Like I said, dire emergency, I could sell the car and put it down on to a place right now. I see lots of land acreage, Colorado, 20 acres for 20 grand, you know, stuff like that. And we could start off that way. But then I'm starting off in the hole, which means, all right, now I'm going to have to pay, it was 399 a month. I'm going to have to pay 399 a month for rent here basically until it's paid off, and then I'm gonna have to hope the car doesn't break down. And if the car breaks down, where do I get it to tow? I mean, we're going off nothing here. We have nothing. So right now, officially, no matter when we start off, if my Toyota Sienna breaks down, I'm gonna have to put up a sign that says we'll work for food, or I just want my car fixed. I need this part and it's $495 and I'm going to stand here and we'll be trapped on that corner, me and my wife, until we get the money for that. But there's two big things if you're grifting, because I've been homeless before. One, have a dog, because they give you food. Then they actually care more about animals than they do humans. So if someone drives by and there's a homeless man, they say, bum, get a job. But if there's a homeless man with a dog, they'll stop and get the dog McDonald's, believe it or not. And two is be funny. My sign will say, please, life would be better if you spread a little cheese on this cracker. You know, I'm white. You know, something to break the tension, the humor, to make them laugh, to get back on the road so I can DoorDash more, so I can make more money. But yeah, as for now, I went from one trap situation to another. They're like, oh, you're in fight or flight mode. Let's ramp that shit up. Let's make it worse for you. You think you're in fight or flight mode right now? Let's get it. I mean, I literally had an eviction notice on my door that says you're getting kicked out in 2 days, and my car wasn't running. Where the hell am I going to go? I'm 50. I have $2 in the bank. Where the hell am I going to go? You know? So it's just high levels of stress, like a fucking CIA vampire sucking your energy, keep them in high stress mode. Like news. Like when you watch the news and you're like, oh my God, the world's bad. Oh my God, the world's bad. And then you shut the news off and you're like, hey, it's not bad. You know, it's lifting that energy off my head, and I need to get out of here. I feel totally trapped here for that reason. You know, it was a blessing. I would have died. The house would have burned down. It was non-livable, holes all over, stuff like that. So I'm grateful for this for the time being, but it's another high stress mode. Like I said, the bills are overly double what my old one was, and I was barely making it then. So, you know, that's the goal. So that's what we're working on here. We constantly check daily of properties with the trailer on it and 3 to 5 acres, you know, and I can get this all set up on 3 acres. It just feels, no neighbors feels good. I go to buddies' houses that live out in the country, and I actually feel like a human being for the day. And then you come back to being boxed in to where you are, where, you know, you're living as a community of humans, but they're not helping you and they don't have good intentions for you. And if you come up, they get jealous. So, you know, I mean, that's why people never leave the hood. You get a bunch of money. You're a rapper, and you get a bunch of money to do this contract, and then you got to be like, well, I got to go back to my roots, and I got to go live back in the ghetto because I don't want to look like I'm better than those people. You know what I mean? So it sucks you back in, and then everyone's jealous because you're there and you have money. It's a trap. It's a trap. Being in close proximity to humans is a trap. If you take the whole world population, you could put everyone in the state of Texas, in the entire world in the state of Texas, and give them a half acre each. So there's plenty of room in this world, plenty of room. So I just need to find my own space, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So I think this is a good idea, and it's my only plan. It's the only plan I can afford, is to get out there and bust it 24/7 in DoorDash and all those apps and of delivery to get this done. But I think I can do it. And if I'm in a place and we only make $20 in a day and we work there 8 hours and it's just not getting dings, meaning you're not getting orders coming up or they're all low paying orders, it's time to move on to another place and see if that place has a little higher pay. It has a little better people's hearts in it. Because some people tip and some people don't. And it's specific of location and mood. So if you can elevate location and elevate mood, you're good to go. So, yeah, that's it. That's my plan. So I do have a game plan. I'm not just like, we're gonna, and it's a solid game plan where I get the foundation down. I just have to basically starve myself and sleep as little as possible and make money. That's all I got to do. I got to spend the next 3 months of my life in my car 24/7. Unfortunately, with a dog and a cat and 2 birds, but the end game is we all get freedom, So that's the end game, is we get to feel like humans that have dignity and self-respect. So that's what I'm going for here. That would have been a blessing, because like I said, this place was triple what some of the places that I saw that only had $50 a month and had their own land were selling for, just for a bright new 2-year-old trailer, which doesn't mean shit. I mean, right now my heater's broke down. Surprise, surprise. 13 years I lived in my last trailer, and the heater core went out on it, and they said $6,000 to make it fixed, and I run the stove. And here we do move into a 2-year-old trailer, and already the heat doesn't work. It hasn't worked for weeks. We've been using the stove cracked open at 170 degrees. It's an electric stove, so there's no CO2 issues or anything and a plug-in furnace just to keep the place warm, which means that you got to trickle the faucet so that the pipes don't freeze underneath, because the floors are ice cold. In a brand new trailer, you got to love it. But I don't have the money to fix it. So, nor do I want to. It's not my property. I'm not doing shit with this. I can't. I don't have. The best thing you can do to take care of others is take care of yourself first. And I got to take care of myself first. And we're going to food banks already every week, and it's minimal, meaning that 90% of the stuff you get is bread. So we're bread and water here, but we're making it. We're making it. I haven't been to the grocery store to buy food in a long time. And I sure as hell ain't been to a McDonald's or Panera Bread or anything or fancy like that. Our big treat, our vacation, was getting a Casey's pizza one night. That was it. We're like, we're going to splurge and we're going to order a pizza, and I'm going to go pick it up. So I'm getting the car going, and that's the next step. But I'm going to have no backup, which scares the hell out of me, because you at least need money in the bank before you start off on the road for a tow and a place to go. And I don't have that. Meaning if you break down, that you can get the parts to repair it yourself, which I'm taking every tool in my van that I can to repair it myself. I don't have shop money to pay a guy triple what it's worth just to get back on the road. Meaning if the alternator gets fixed, I got to hold the sign up to collect enough money to collect the $125 so that I can walk to an AutoZone, walk back, and wrench it on myself. We're starting at the bottom. We're starting at the bottom, and I'm not worried about that because there's no place to go but up. So it's not a bad thing. But, there's that. Before you buy a piece of bread, you better have 1,000 in the bank for a $120 tow and a part that might cost $800 to get back into the game, and then you need to immediately refurnish that $1,000. But our goal is to pretend that we have $0 and we live in a van until we get step one done, which is land with the trailer on it. And you save so much money by going out there and working 3 months DoorDash and collecting that 30 grand and going and plopping that down versus doing the rent to own. They give you lower rates. They're like, do you want it for 100 months? And then we'll only charge you $399 a month for this $20,000. And you're like, wow, $399 a month, that's half the price of this. That sounds like a good deal. But you look at the overall what you paid for it, and you paid double had you paid cash and just been patient. So I think that I need to be patient at this time and work for the bigger prize. So we'll get it. We don't know where we're going to live. We don't know what state we're going to buy property in with a trailer on it. But that way I don't have to go in and, if it has city water, I'm still going to dig a well. But if it has city water, I'm already set. And if it's trailer on land, it probably already has electricity run to it. It probably already has gas run to it. It probably, the necessities that you have to do there. If you buy raw land, you don't realize that it's going to cost $20,000 to do the well. It's going to cost $20,000 to run power poles to the place that you're going to be. And then if you want gas, you're either going to have to, you know what I mean? So it's an add-on. It was already set up because someone was living there. So I'm not afraid to get a 70s trailer from that, because at that point I have a house on land, privacy. I can work on it and swing hammers without neighbors being like, you know what? It's 2 a.m. I'm going to work tomorrow. Can you shut the fuck up? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to live here. That like you're watching a movie and you're like, I'm constantly like looking at the volume of my TV and like, okay, it's after 9. We need to turn it down. There's no freedom. There's no freedom. It's a trap. So I can gut the place and put 2x4 in it, an older one, instead of the 2x3s that are normally in a trailer. And then I've done metal roofs because I used to live at a campground, and I built a 20-foot by 30-foot overhang over the trailer with a metal roof and a snow grate on it. I built that myself, and that was 12 foot high, 10 foot at the lowest point, and it was 20 by 30. So I can do a roof on a trailer. I couldn't do it where it was at because it was already, I can't prove it, but someone poked holes in my roof and the walls were all wet. The walls were all moldy. And it was just a fire hazard to stay there and try to recoup there. It was going to kill me, besides the mold and the havoc that can wreak on you having the mold in your vicinity. So, all right, I think that's about it. Is there anything more I have to say? Like gravel, I know how to do that. I've done all this before on farms. I've basically lived on a farm. Get up and do the work every day and, straighten the gravel and all that. So I'm good to go. I'll be fine.